Shrek Forever After. Has Shrek not enjoying his life, so he asks Rumpelstiltskin to take one of his days away from him, only for it to be the day of Shrek's birth. So the positives on the film are there's more interesting things going on in the movie. I like that Shrek wants to relive his glory days, which by terrorizing villagers, which is a real life thing for humans, almost like a midlife crisis for Shrek. It sets up the plot for the movie very well, so I enjoy that. Rumpelstiltskin, I think, is a very good villain. He tricks Shrek into giving away his day of birth without Shrek knowing it, because Rumpelstiltskin just says, like, oh, we can take a day from your past, maybe a day when you were a baby. And so, like, he does this because the king and queen of Far, Far Away were about to sign away the land to Rumpelstiltskin for their daughter to save Fiona, only for, in the events of Shrek 1, Shrek saved Fiona. So I did also like that. And so in the alternate timeline where Rumpelstiltskin actually takes over Far, Far Away, he feels like a threat, and I enjoy that world that he made, this just chaotic world, so where he runs it, so I liked that. This movie has such fun moments, like Shrek terrorizing the village when he goes into like the alternate universe, where he gets to be a real ogre and terrorize the village. That's a lot of fun. Shrek flying around Rumpelstiltskin's castle and dodging witches as they're throwing like pumpkin bombs. That was a lot of fun. That's a really cool moment, so I really like that. Capturing the dragon and overthrowing Rumpelstiltskin's castle in the end, that was a lot of fun, especially when Shrek and Fiona have to work together, and they tie up the dragon and then just capture the dragon. That was really cool. And the final positive of this movie is this is about the only final chapter that actually kind of stays a final chapter. Maybe Shrek the Third didn't do so well, so they decided to make this the final movie, because from the beginning, pretty much, it was planned as like a 5-movie franchise. So maybe just Shrek the Third probably didn't do so well, so they were like, okay, let's just make the 4th one the end. But it does feel like the end. They actually end this movie with I'm a Believer, as they ended the first Shrek with that song, so I thought that was a good, a good, it was a good way where it ended Shrek and then it ended this Shrek movie. I thought that was actually really cool. So if this is actually the final movie, I think it's actually fairly satisfying. That's it for positives. Onto the negatives, and they're not too big. A small negative is that Rumpelstiltskin was actually shown in Shrek the Third as one of the villains who didn't get the right ending, but he has a different design to him. So he looks nothing like Rumpelstiltskin in this movie, so that was annoying. I just noticed that rewatching Shrek the Third for the review. So they probably could have used the same design of him and use him in this one, or just do a completely different fairy tale villain. So those were two things. Those were two options that you could have done that kind of doesn't make it feel that planned out when we already saw Rumpelstiltskin in Shrek the Third. But, again, small negative. And now The last negative is it was kind of confusing because I wonder how Prince Charming and that whole thing would have worked in this movie. He was on his way to save Fiona. So in like the original Shrek, or maybe after the events of the original Shrek, I don't know. So would he have been late anyways in Shrek, because the king and queen go in the alternate timeline, the king and queen go to Rumpelstiltskin, say we want our daughter free, and they sign their castle, they sign their kingdom away to Rumpelstiltskin. So it feels a little confusing. And then in this movie, Fiona just left anyways, so it feels a little confusing, so I don't know how Prince Charming would have worked. It kind of seems like Prince Charming would never have worked in this franchise. He never would have gotten to Fiona, so I'm not really sure. So I kind of feel like it's maybe a plot hole in this movie and not really thought out too well. So that was a little confusing. But that's it for negatives. In the end, it is actually a final chapter that stays a final chapter, unlike other final chapters in other franchises. And it feels like a final chapter. I think it still is true to a final chapter because it's the final Shrek-centered movie, while Puss in Boots and Puss in Boots: The Last Wish follow Puss in Boots. But there's also like other shorts of Shrek, but they're not theatrically released movies. They're not movies. So this, as far as I'm concerned, actually is the final chapter of the Shrek franchise, and I do think that it is pretty good, a good bit better than Shrek the Third, so I enjoy it. Again, more fun than Shrek the Third, and I think it's actually fairly entertaining. So, Shrek Forever After, I enjoy it. I think it's actually a pretty good movie. That's my review on Shrek Forever After. Thanks for watching.